So this is a Samsung Galaxy A06, Samsung's entry-level device from 2024, which I'm finally getting my hands on. But after holding onto the phone for some time, it gave me this quick little pause. The kind where you go, wait, this actually feels better than I thought. Now, just to clarify, I only had this phone for a short period of time, so this is a first impressions video rather than an actual full review. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still a budget phone, and you can clearly tell from some of its design choices. But for my first impressions, well, not bad at all. Now, inside the box, Samsung kept everything very minimal. The phone itself, some paperwork, and a charging cable. No case, no earphone, not even a charging brick like some other brands do at the same price range. And to me, it's very concerning. Now, holding the phone for the first time, it actually feels very steady in the hands. Considering the last time I made a switch from Android to iPhone was back in August 2024. And the phone I was using back then was an itel P3. Not a great phone for me back then, but I just find myself in a situation where I had no option but to use it anyway. So since then, it's been long since I've used an Android device. Now, the A06 has its back made from plastic with the frame also being made from plastic. But even with that, it doesn't feel or look ugly in any way. It has this clean, simple, boxy frame design like some other flagship devices with the power and volume controls placed on this bump they are calling the key island. And also, the power button doubles as a fingerprint reader. Then at the back, you have the dual cameras stacked neatly at the top corner similar to the Galaxy A05. Now, it's not flashy, but it's a kind of design that blends in without screaming cheap at your face. It is 8mm thick compared to my iPhone XR, which is 0.3mm thicker. And I know it's not that of a big difference, but it still matters. You also get a speaker, the charging port, plus a mic, and the headphone jack all arranged at the bottom of the phone. But for some reason, it doesn't seem to be well centered at all. It's kind of down a little. I mean, it's a subtle detail by the way, but to me, it's kind of matters. Then up front is a huge 6.7-inch screen display, which for me, it's just too big for my hands compared to my iPhone XR with 6.1-inch screen size. And even with that, I sometimes struggle to reach the top of the screen with just one hand. Oh, and it is also LCD panel, which is why you get this big chin at the bottom of the phone because the display connectors actually need some space to fit in. Now, scrolling through menus isn't that bad, but the app drawer happens to be in horizontal order, which honestly, I prefer vertical order over this. I don't know if I'm the only person that likes this format. I mean, it's subtle, but you can bear with me. When it comes to the brightness, it gets pretty bright with up to 564 nits at maximum, which isn't bad for indoors and occasional outdoor viewing. It looks fine, but under strong sunlight, you probably find yourself squinting a little bit. Still, for watching videos or just casual browsing, it gets the job done. It also wobbles a little when placed on flat surfaces due to the protruding camera bump, but it's not too much of a big deal. Now, performance-wise, this is where you start to see that budget DNA has actually been embedded into the device. The Galaxy A06 runs on the Helio G85 processor, and while I didn't live long enough to push it fully, I did notice that opening apps or switching between them isn't exactly instant. And it is not painfully slow, but if you are used to something faster on other devices, then you will definitely notice the difference. Now, out of the box, it runs on the Android 14 with One UI 6 skin on top, but Samsung happens to offer up to 2 years of major updates. So with that, you could get Android 15 and One UI 7, which isn't pretty bad. Now, of course, I had to test the cameras. And honestly, this is where budget phones either surprise you or remind you of their price tag. The Galaxy A06 has a dual camera setup at the back, being a 50-megapixel main camera and a secondary 2-megapixel camera with the flashlight sitting next in between them. And during my short time with it, I snapped a few shots in good lighting, which the photos came out fine. The colors were decent and the details were acceptable. But once the light started to fade, so does the quality. The selfie camera is 8-megapixel and photos taken with it, well, I wouldn't say it is too amazing. But again, for this tier, well, you can't expect too much. Also, battery life is one area I couldn't properly test since I didn't spend enough time living with the phone. However, it packs a pretty hefty 5,000 milliamp hours of battery, and with that, I believe most people will get through a full day without stressing over battery usage. However, the rated 5,000 milliamp hours of battery capacity isn't really what it is, but rather a 4,855 milliamp hours of battery. So the displayed number happens to actually be the average huge estimated capacity. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Charging it up is also pretty fast with up to 25 watts of max power input. So topping it up when it's down shouldn't be a problem. Now, I also have some downside during my short period of using the phone, which I believe could actually be improved on. And the first thing is the sound from the speaker. Now, it only got a single down-firing speaker, which isn't a bad thing though, but the sound from it actually is terrible even at half volume, and it gets worse when you crank it up to max volume. Plus, the software is also bloated with preloaded apps installed, which can disrupt your use experience if you are getting these for the first time. However, I do understand that this has to be done to cut down the cost of the device so it could be budget friendly. But like I said, if you're a first time user, it is probably going to annoy you. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Also, the not included protective case means you have to make sure you don't drop the device off the ground, or else it might leave a lasting dent on the device since the body is mainly made of plastic. Now, to sum everything up, I would say the Galaxy A06 is actually a phone built for people that just want something that works, like calls, social media, and occasional YouTube video watching, because it's handled those just fine. But if you are someone coming from a flagship or even a solid mid-range device, then you will notice the corners that have been cut down on this device. So with that said, if you just want an affordable Samsung with a big screen and a bigger battery, then this is pretty a straightforward option to go for. Also, if you like seeing quick impressions video before I get into deeper reviews, then feel free to hit the subscribe button, because this is just one of many more hands-on I'll be doing, and I'd love for you to be part of the journey. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. See you in the next one.